Okay, hello. Welcome everybody to Off. If you've never heard of this game, it was made in the very famous RPG Maker engine. In fact, one of, if not the most popular game to be made in the engine. And it's a very interesting run, and game in general. I'm very excited to run it. So I'm just going to get started. I'll say now that this game is really weird in a somewhat disturbing way. You might not notice it too much visually. However, if I get into story explanations, just be warned that I might say some really weird sounding things. So, with that being said, I want to have a one character name. I'm going to choose 4 because SS4C. And with that, I'll be ready to go when I confirm my name. So, assuming I am ready for a countdown, I am going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. I got a little bit of a head start there. So Off. I mentioned that this was made in RPG Maker, and it's very popular. I didn't exactly explain what it is. So it's an RPG Maker game made by a few French people in 2008 that was first translated to English in 2013. And it is a pretty surreal RPG about the Batter and his mission to purify the world. Immediately, we start in Zone 0, where we meet the Judge, who is this cat. And there's not really too many major characters in this run, but these are 2 we're going to be seeing almost the whole time. We can skip the combat tutorial just by saying no to it, but that's one of the major things. The 3 major things are getting through text, combat, which I'll explain when I actually get into it, not during a combat tutorial that's slow and optional, and puzzles. This game is absolutely filled to the brim with puzzles, and I have taken it upon myself to memorize almost all of them, and any of them I don't have memorized, I do have written down on a notepad. So I'm going to be getting through all these puzzles as if I've played the game before, which I have. So Zone 0 is kind of a tutorial, and at the end of it we get the Leo card, which allows us to travel to the nothingness, which is the world map, and access Zone 1 from there. So we're now in the first kind of actual area of the game, which is Zone 1. Once we get into Zone 1, we're going to start on some cutscenes that kind of get into what this game is really well known for, which is its world building. So, Zone 1 is this kind of, I'd like to call it like an industrial type place. Almost everyone here is tirelessly working. It's not quite industrial because it's not like a lot of factories exist. We'll see something like that later. But basically everybody here is working their whole time they're awake to make the world alive, essentially. These cutscenes that you're seeing right now, there's going to be 4 of these throughout the zone, and it's going to be explaining the game's 4 elements, which are smoke, metal, plastic, and meat. Those 4 elements do play a part in the battle system. However, I'm very rarely going to be paying attention to them. So, with that being said, I'm just going to move into this annex tunnel. Our goal is to purify each zone, and to do that, we need to defeat the specters, which are the basic enemies of the game. And somebody thinks that the specters are in this annex tunnel, but instead there's just a hula hoop, so we steal the hula hoop. This hula hoop is actually our first party member, Add-on Alpha, who's going to help us specifically in battles. Speaking of battles, I'm about to get to my first battle system now. If you think you know absolutely nothing about this game, you might actually know one thing about this game, and it is this battle theme right here. That being said, I'll talk about the battle system for real. There are kind of some funny translations from French to English. So instead of normal words like skills and items, we have competences, which are our skills, and objects, which are our items. Battle system's just kind of pretty simple from there. You have an action bar. Once that action bar is filled up on that character, it can perform an action, whether that be any of the things I just mentioned. One thing to point out about this game is it's kind of notoriously high miss rate on standard attacks. You didn't see it there, but standard attacks have a 1 in 10 chance to miss. So you see it a lot, especially in runs. In this very beginning portion of the run, I want to get to level 2 with add-on alpha, so I'm gonna grind here for a little bit.
So those misses are like Pokemon Gen 1 miss?
No, because a Gen 1 miss is like a statistical thing in the game, I think. It's just stupidly common missing in this game. A Gen... Yeah, it's like Tackle. Tackle's a better description. A Gen 1 miss is a bug in the calculation of 100% accuracy moves, where 100% accuracy moves had a 156 chance to miss. That's not a thing in this game. So I got a good bit of luck here. So soon I'm not gonna have to grind in auto mode anymore. Except I keep missing. Alpha is blinded, which doesn't help the missing thing more, but Batters, I think, already missed twice in this section of the run. So just very bad luck all around. However, I did get Alpha to level 2 here. You're gonna see in only 2 encounters. And he learned Saturated Chain, which is a really good physical skill. Alpha's really good at just learning physical skills, so they're gonna be a good source of damage throughout the run. We're gonna get our second element cutscene. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about, kind of the luck that comes into effect in this game. So on top of the missing, and on top of the EXP grinding, there's also status effects. Basically every boss will have a status effect they can give us. Some of them just poison you, which is like bad, yeah, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Some of them will give you other status effects, like blindness is horrible. 2 in particular you're gonna see me get upset at a lot are stun status effects, like paralyzation or sleep, in which your action bar stops for either a limited or permanent amount of time, unless you use an item to end it early. And then Rage. There are a few different type of Rage status elements that make it so you can only do standard attacks. And those are the worst. You'll see when I get to a major battle and I don't want to be using standard attacks. So the reason I wanted to get Alpha to level 2 before this part of the run is because these ghosts are very annoying. I have to clean out this barn. There are 5 specters in this barn. If you do any action with the batter, another enemy gets summoned and you have to defeat that enemy. And so it becomes this very annoying chain of just enemies attacking you and like spawning, and the battles are all super long. By leveling Alpha up to level 2, we learned Saturated Chain, which is that physical skill I mentioned, and we can use it to kill the ghosts in 2 turns without ever having to use the batter to do anything, and that prevents any extra enemies from spawning into the fight. On top of this, you also see me sometimes getting items from these enemies. There are a few items in particular I want to see, those being luck tickets, which are standard healing items, and silver flesh, which are standard CP, or competence point healing items. Because I want to have as much of those as possible for the first boss. I only have one more Spectre until I'm done cleaning out the barn here. And there we go.
Mind if I plug a donation in?
Can I introduce one character real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so this is Deaden. he is kind of the leader of Zone 1, essentially. So he is very bossy and very antagonistic. And the batter's going to pick up on this and realize, oh, he might be the one controlling the Spectres because of how rude he is to everyone. So now our main goal is to try and stop this guy. You can read your donation now.
Sure. So NES has donated $1.01 with the message, "Hi, good luck." And with that, sadly, we do not have funny number anymore.
Oh,
but
no.
we appreciate NES donation, of course. Please remind this marathon supports Direct Relief, which is an humanitarian aid organization active in more than 80 countries with a mission to improve health and lives of people affected by poverty or emergencies like COVID-19.
Thank you. So, I'm in the dark now. I'm going to talk about level grinding for the rest of the run. Because now that I did my first level grind, which was level 2 before that barn. So now I can talk about what I want to do, which is level 4. For the first major boss of the game, I want both of my characters to be level 4. One of them will learn both of them learn new skills at level 4. I'll talk about that when I get there. However, from now on, for like the next 10 minutes or so, every area I go to, every battle is going to matter, and the EXP route is going to be quite random. So, I'll just have to improvise late in the Zone 1, depending on what happens throughout the rest of it. Coming up after this cutscene here is going to be the first notable example of how much time you can save by just either remembering puzzle routes or writing them down. The whole gist of this area of the mines that I'm in right now is that people do not remember the codes that you need to use to find the post office and get to the top of the post office, which is apparently where the Spectres are coming from. However, that number never changes. None of the puzzles in this game ever changes. So, if I remember it, 10258 brings me to the post office. That's just gonna happen every time. Kind of unfortunately, means that a lot of the puzzle solving in this run, that's usually very complicated. A lot of these puzzles are very complicated, and none of it, the solving of it gets showed off. However, it just makes the run super quick, and a lot of things might seem confusing, but it's just things that I've done over and over again to the point of memorization. With that being said, I don't really have much to talk about in this post office. There's going to be a required battle coming up. Actually, I can talk about that battle. This battle has an enemy in it in particular that I want to watch out for, I think. Nope, I messed up the code. I know where I messed up. It's fine. Okay, I was wrong about I'm wrong about everything right now. I was wrong about the enemy, but it's gonna come up soon. So I'm gonna talk about it in a little bit. Alpha just achieved level 3 on this encounter. That's not horrible. Remember, the end goal is that both of my characters are level 4 by the time I fight the first boss. So, I'm on pace for that, at least. So now we can go to Alma, which is where Deaden's kind of like base is. Deaden was that guy I mentioned earlier who's yelling at all the dudes. So we're kind of in the last part of the first zone here. These enemies are the ones I wanted to talk about. So these enemies have a move called Square Game. And it is annoying, because it drains competence points. Which means that if it hits, suddenly you're going to have a lot less saturated chains that you can use. Therefore, I really want to be careful with those little, like, rodent-like enemies that appear in the battles in the last part of Zone 1, because they can just make my life infinitely worse. We have our last element cutscene here, and then I just kind of have purely puzzles and battles until the next boss fight. So, I do not have too much to say.
Oh, well, so probably we should take the chance to let everyone know that not only the donations go to direct relief, but also you can choose your donations for several bid wars that we have left, such as naming our rival's name in Pokemon Red, picking whether if you want to play Petite or Pika Cup tomorrow. Sorry, Pika or Poke. Sorry, the feel when you don't read. You can choose in Pika or Petite Cup tomorrow at Pokemon Stadium. You can name the Excadrill tomorrow at Pokemon Shield. The upcoming voice language bid war in Octopath Travel. Selecting the character at Blazing Chrome. Save the animals, and more. Please remind to select in the poll while donating what you want to pick, or how much you want that to be chosen.
So, this battle right here is going to be an EXP check for me. In an ideal situation, batter levels up off of this encounter. Okay. I am probably, based on my current EXP level, one bonus encounter behind. So at some point in this area, I'm hoping to get one optional encounter, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. Alright. Almost done with this battle. Just need attacks on one or two more. Yep, there we go. Here, Batter's gonna level up. I'm sure of it. There we go. So Batter reaches level 4 and learns Run with Courage, which is the Batter's first really good attack skill. Which means that Batter is now ready to deal with enemies of, like, you know, bigger nature. The other skill we want to learn at Alpha for level 4 is a Weighted Embrace. We don't actually put Alpha to level 4 for a Weighted Embrace. However, Alpha being level 4 is still a big deal, just like stat-wise. There is equipment in this game that you can use, that you can like buy to up your character's stats. However, we're never gonna use any of that. We are going to vouch in this run to only get stat increases straight through level up. So, the main reason we want to reach level 4 is not for the skill that we learn on Alpha, however, just so Alpha has more attack power, and therefore the fight is a lot easier. Once I reach level 4, there's no way I'm going to reach level 5 before the fight, unless I'm intentionally just wasting all that time, so I can start fleeing from encounters, and at this point, with my current level, yeah, I'm going to be able to flee from most things. So this is a really good song. However, not only are we in this place for a very short amount of time, but the puzzle is audio-based, so as you can hear, the audio keeps cutting in and out, and it's kind of sad. But I'm going to take a save point. We're coming up on the first boss, so I have a chance to die here, or like get an unwinnable fight, so I'm going to take a save just in case that happens, because I don't want to lose a lot of time. This is dead. The strategy here is that we're going to just kind of spam run with courage in the saturated chain as necessary until he dies. There's a few variation things that we have to look out for. One, Deaden can inflict 2 status conditions on me. And those are Furious, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a status condition that makes the character inflicted only do standard attacks, and Asleep, one that temporarily paralyzes the enemy. Alpha is Asleep. Okay. Sleep can last for a pretty random amount of time, and I was lucky enough for Alpha's sleep to last for a very minimal amount of time. So that move I got at level 4 for Alpha, a Weighted Embrace, is going to be useful throughout the run, because what it does is it poisons the enemy it hits. Zone bosses like Deaden are completely immune to poison, so I can't really use it here. So I just kind of have to stick with Saturated Chain. Once Batter is at a low CP, I'm going to use a Silver Flesh, which is items I got in the barn, in order to make sure that he can still keep using skills. On top of that, I do need to heal my characters as need be. You saw me use a luck ticket on Batter earlier. However, his attacks keep missing. I'm getting a pretty lucky fight so far. Yeah, so I'm going to heal here. This is really the gist of the fight, is I kind of need to hope that I get lucky with status effects and, like, damage. I need to keep both my characters alive. I do not have a revive item at this point in the run, and I do need both of my characters to receive the experience from this fight. So... Okay, good thing I used that Silver Flesh on Alpha, because now I can just kind of keep going in. 2, okay, I fell asleep twice in this fight, but both of my sleeps were very quick. That's good. I'm gonna go a little risky and not heal you just yet. Okay, heal you with that, heal you with that. Okay, we're good. At this point, I can probably just keep throwing myself at the boss and they'll die real soon. Very good fight. Very, very good. That is a really scary fight. So again, super happy about that. So that's the first boss. We're gonna get this cutscene now. There is a baby. The baby is sad. Now we get to go to Zone 2. Zone 2 is a lot more kind of community-ish. You're gonna see kind of like a residential area throughout this whole thing. There's like a library and an amusement park and a shopping mall and a neighborhood. It's great. Immediately what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the screen on the west here and buy a book page from this dude. Because we need it for a puzzle. Then I'm going to go into the library, and there's going to be this cutscene about this man who was tearing pages out of books. So what do? We walk up to the librarian and offer to eliminate the specters in the building, because there's apparently a cat in the building. Also, the 4th floor is really dangerous. We can't go there. To get to the 4th floor, we can get there, though. We just have to put the pages back in the book, like nothing bad happened. You know, like they weren't forcefully ripped out. You can get into an encounter in this room, however, once again, I'm already at the level I want to be. I'm just going to flee from it. But yeah, I'm just kind of walking around this room now, inserting pages into books. So, not much to do. I'm done pretty soon. I
just love how the librarian said, okay, eliminate the specters, but don't be loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's a library. I got in 2 encounters in this room. I've seen that before, but it's rare. Fortunately, I first tried fleed both of them. So once I hear that jingle after putting all the correct pages back, I can tell this person that I put the pages back in the book, and they're like, okay, you can go to the floor with all the ghosts on it. So we're gonna go to the floor with all the ghosts on it. I'm gonna heal, because that never happened. And then we're gonna meet another cat. There's 2 of them in this game. This is Japhet, kind of. Japhet is kind of the zone guardian. So we're gonna fight him right now. Because, you know, that's how we purify the zone. Except, like, not really. This isn't, like, the actual zone battle with Japhet. You can tell because he's poisonable, and I just say you can't poison zone bosses. But this is the first instance of poison really being a helpful tool in battle. It makes this battle just so much faster. So I just kind of need to keep spamming my skills. And that is it for the first fight against Japhet. We will be fighting it again later. Alpha reaches level 5, which is cool, I guess, and we get a new add-on. Add-on Omega. Omega is a real interesting party member. His kind of main thing, where Alpha is just a really good damage dealer overall, is that Omega can kind of deal in stats. He's gonna learn moves that, like, negate enemy defenses, which is the main one we're gonna use once we get it, stuff like that. I'm gonna go shopping in the shopping mall. I'm gonna buy 2 fortune tickets, which are just better versions of luck tickets, so even better healing items. And I'm gonna buy 3 jokers as revive items. The reason I buy these things, I'll talk about later. But we have a maze to go through now. This maze is kind of, what's the word? Infamous among people that have played this game casually. It's not that bad. The maze is not that bad at all. So I just kind of need to walk through it. There's a very small chance I'll get an encounter in this maze. Usually the encounter in the maze is just dependent on how long you've been in the maze, and I'm usually fast enough in the maze to never have to worry about that encounter. The end of the maze, in fact, is right here. We meet up with the judge. This cat is not Japhet, this is the judge. And Japhet's like, hey, my brother's been missing, but he lives here. So please find him. And we're like, yeah, sure. And then we can summon a rubber ducky. So we're gonna ride the rubber. If you remember the rubber duckies we rode all the way back in Zone 1, we can ride a rubber ducky in Zone 2 now. We're gonna go to the amusement park. And amusement parks usually have roller coasters, you might say. Yes, there was an incentive that was meant for me to ride this roller coaster. However, I'm gonna put this bluntly and say that I've been overdue for a PB in this game for a while, and this run's really good right now, so I'm gonna save the incentive for after the run and just continue the run right now. And that leads us to Balloon Game. And I won Balloon Game. Cool. So now we get into a battle, because the dude is mad that we won Balloon Game. And there we go. So now that we have beaten this enemy, we have a necktie. Also, I said I'm not throwing the incentive out. I'm doing it after the run. I made a save file for it before the run. It's fine. I'm gonna go do another weird thing, though. So, the necktie is an item that lets us into the eastern part of Zone 2. I don't want to go there yet. There's a lot of things there that I don't want to do yet. What I do want to do is I want to go back to Zone 1, which we've already purified. And it's creepy up here. This is an experience that I'm really glad I get to show off every time I do this run in a marathon. This is a purified zone. And it has these enemies in it. I don't like these enemies, so I'm going to run from them, because they can mess me up if I don't run from them. They didn't mess me up. That's good. So yeah, a purified zone is just kind of this. It's devoid of everything. And it's kind of a plot point about you're supposed to question the batter's morality. However, what I'm going to do is use this for speed. So there are 5 items in this game called the Grand Items. And the Grand Items are very interesting because there's this post-credits cutscene you can get if you collect all 5 Grand Items. Commonly known as the third ending. It's this little meme cutscene you can get. And it's pretty funny. We're not going to get it in this run, though. However, one of the Grand Items is locked behind a secret boss called Sugar, who is the hardest thing you can fight in the game. And you have to defeat her to get that secret cutscene. Being the hardest boss in the game, she gives really good experience. So, I'm gonna go fight her while I'm level 5, so that she'll give me all her experience and I'll like double in level. Because that won't go poorly, trust me. However, to start to spawn Sugar in Zone 0, which is where you fight her, you do need to collect at least one of the Grand Items. So we want to collect the item that's at the end of Purified Zone 1, which is right in here, the Grand Finale. I'm going to drop a save point, because I'm not guaranteed to get this boss fight coming up first try. But now that I've gotten my Grand Finale and dropped my save point, I'm going to go back to Zone 0, and I'm going to show off Sugar. So the strategy here is I'm going to hope that I get a 30% poison chance. As you can see, we're under-leveled, so my action bar fills up incredibly slowly. There are a few things I want to look out for. One, I got paralyzed, or palsied. That's bad. I want to fix that. The other thing you might notice, though, is these masks that do things to Sugar. And I didn't get my poison. I usually do 2 attempts at a poison in a given attempt of the Sugar fight, and if I don't get it, I will just, like, you know, that's when I'll restart the file. So, the kind of goal here is, yeah, to poison Sugar, and then use the healing items that okay, nope. And then use the healing items that I got to, keep my party members alive until Sugar just kind of dies of poison. Because the way that poison works in this game is every time any person acts, the opponent takes poison damage. And those little 4 things that Sugar are holding are using these mask moves, and every time one of those triggers, and you can see how quickly they trigger, every time one of these triggers, Sugar takes 600 damage. She is pretty weak to poison. So, I'm hoping for the poison. Again, it's like a 30% chance. I didn't get it. Omega's a trooper. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is bad. This is real bad. Who are you using that on? Okay, Alpha's dead again. So yeah, you usually only have 2 tries at poisoning her before the masks just stop attacking and the strat no longer works. And sometimes you don't even get to attempt both poisons before the masks just stop attacking and you have to retry the fight. So this is what makes this run very RNG heavy and dumb. But it's the fastest route that's RTA viable. Didn't get the poison. I'm gonna try and keep a character with a full action bar, just so that they can act at any given moment. Just like if that happens, I can use a healing item to stop Alpha from being paralyzed, and get my second poison attempt in. It's not looking great right now, but the fight is looking. I'll try and keep Batter's action bar full. Batter is dead. Okay. Poison, maybe? Nope. Okay, that fight's not gonna work. I did a run of this recently, and I got a 4th try fight, which I think means that this is gonna be a 4th try fight also. Yeah, the run's just kind of like this. Fortunately, the estimate accounts for this. If I was around the same pace as my PB entering this fight, that means I was on 106 pace, and my estimate's 120, so obviously, you know, I accounted for this at least a little bit.
Please all send the prayers, emotes in the chat.
I'm just not even gonna attempt that fight. Alpha got insta-killed. It was not 4th tries the charm. Marathon luck, this happens. I think the last marathon I did this game at, this took like so many tries, it was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, please send the prayers.
5's the lucky number, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool, awesome, thanks. I haven't gotten hit by anyone right now, so I can just wait for Alpha's bar to go up. Oh, Alpha got furious. Oh my goodness. Literally right as his bar filled up too. That's very annoying. I couldn't react to it.
So the Furious would be like a Berserk mode?
Yes! You can only do standard attacks and Furious.
Oh.
Yeah.
Please keep sending good vibes, and also please remind for donations for direct relief, and also if you're donating, please remember we still have bid wars and incentives to be met, so please remind to check those.
Okay. I accidentally used my status healing item on the wrong character, so I'm just gonna give that fight up now. Fortunately, the estimate doesn't take that long, so, like, if I get it this try, I could honestly, even with the estimate, or with the incentive after the run, go under estimate. Probably. I'd like to think. I'm thinking positive here. I'm a positive thinker of positivity and positiveness. Sometimes. This is one of those times.
Let's be positive. Let's pray for the RNGesus.
Nope, didn't happen. I'm just gonna heal all my party members back to full, so that they can be at full for this upcoming gauntlet of attacks that's about to happen. Batter is dead. I think that's fine. Omega's close enough to where they can revive once that hits. Okay, I landed the poison.
Yay.
Now I just need to keep my party members alive throughout the fight. You can see her constantly taking poison damage. After a while, the masks stop doing things, but they still have, like, they're not able to do moves anymore, but they still have, like, kind of turns registered, and that poison did a different amount of damage. The reason why is because you cannot die to poison in this game, so that lower amount of damage than normal means that she was just put down to 1 HP. I can use any skill, and it will kill her. She can't be damaged by basic attacks, she can only be damaged by skills. So now at this point, I just have to wait until everyone gets their action bar filled up so that I can defeat the boss. So just one more second, and there we go! That's it.
Yay! That's a clap.
Yep. So, I was level 5 on every character entering this fight. All my characters are now level 10. So that's good. I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. Before that, though, I'm going to talk to the shopkeeper who's here. I'm going to sell this Monday item that I got, and I can buy 7 expirations. Every RPG has that kind of quintessential damage-dealing item that you could just kind of throw out. That's what an expiration is. It's really good for later in the run. So I'm going to grab some right now while they're available in the shop. Because that's like the hardest enemy in the game, that's kind of considered a late-game shop right there. But we can access it pretty early. And now I'm going to use the necktie that I got from the carnival and just kind of go back to doing what I was doing in Zone 2. I'm going to go to the east area where Japhet is going to get angry at a group of Elsons and summon a bunch of ghosts on them.
While we wait for the ghost summoning, is there time for a donation?
Can I say something real quick?
Yes!
Okay, so coming up is a timed section. The timer doesn't run while I'm in a battle, just on the overworld. This is the reason why I wanted to do Sugar before this part of the run. Because now we have a bunch of stronger attack stats and better skills. We can kill these enemies in 1 turn. Usually if you don't kill these enemies, what they do on their first turn is split into 8 pieces, and then they take super long to kill. So that's why we fought Sugar now, so we could level up before this part of the game. And it's also really good for the rest of the run, but very specifically this part, it makes just so much faster. With that being said, though, it's just enemy fights, so you can read donations and do whatever you want during this portion. You there? Did my Discord die out?
No, I muted my microphone instead of muting Discord. So, we're gonna read that again. That Rilabel, I hope that I read it correctly, donated $5.55, and the comment is basically what we are doing to this ghost is twack.
Thank you.
For those that play Ultimate and no hero.
Oh goodness.
Oh goodness, exactly.
I only have 3 more enemies to fight here. So I don't really have much to talk about. The new skills we learned are kind of just stronger versions of the skills we were using previously, so I don't have too much to say, but the skills are real.
Unlike the cake.
Yes.
So let's take the opportunity to remind that all the donation supports direct relief, and please remember, every time you donate we still have incentives and bid words to be met, so please check those for the donation and make sure you click the checkbox for those count in for said bid word or said incentive.
I'm now done with the kind kind of residential area here. And while we're done with that, the judge has found his brother. So we are going to go with the judge to the very top of the library to go get his brother. And this is the last part of Zone 2. We're about to finish up Zone 2, so that's nice. And the library is a pretty long climb, and there's a puzzle you have to solve there. Obviously, I've memorized the solution, just like every other puzzle. Actually, that's a lie. This is one of the few I actually have written down, because my memory is bad. But it's a long climb to the top of the library. It's a very cool one, though. And the whale is here. Does everyone say hi to the whale?
Hi.
So it's pretty rare that you get an encounter on that screen. Okay. Encounters. I don't think I've ever gotten an encounter in this room since my blind playthrough of the game in January. And I've now just gotten 2 encounters in this room that I haven't gotten an encounter in since my blind playthrough in January. Oh, that tripped me up. My desktop background changed at the same time I went through that screen transition, and I thought it was the game messing up.
So this is a never happened before moment?
I mean, it's a theoretic. It technically has, and it's nothing crazy. I'm in pain. What's the puzzle solution here? I have this one written down, and I did the puzzle wrong. There we go. I got it. I figured it out. It technically has, and it's not like the craziest thing in the world, but like, I'm still upset that it did. This game's encounter rate is, I wish I understood it. It's not a step counter, it's just a thing. So we learn at the top of the library that Japhet is actually the judge's brother, ? Not actually. Japhet's not a cat. Valerie is the cat that is the judge's brother. And Japhet is a bird that Valerie tried to eat. But Japhet can't be eaten because he's the zone leader, I guess. So that's interesting. After a little while of smacking this cat, it turns into a big bird, which is why Valerie couldn't have eaten him. Because look at how big a bird that is. And this is the true boss fight.
I love how the cat sadly is still like hanging.
Yeah. That cat is not very alive right now, I'm sorry to tell you all.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, Alpha's poisoned, and I hate that. Being poisoned isn't necessarily a problem. However, when somebody's poisoned and you're on the overworld, the game flashes red every couple of seconds. So I'm gonna heal the poison just because I don't want you to look at that. I got poisoned again.
Oh no.
It's okay, we're fine. I have poison heal. One of the things we got from Omega's level 5 to 10 up is Overdone Perspective, which heals poison. And that's Japhet.
Nice.
So that's the end of Zone 2. We're done with it now. And we get to go to Zone 3. Which is a zone. This is my least favorite part of the run, I'll be completely honest. It's not, like, bad. I love running this game, but, like,
Yeah.
We have the
I
baby.
love how the cat... Oh, the baby.
Yeah, the
I
cat
love
is...
how the cat was still. And I had to say that I hated the joke that our currently restreamer did.
Yeah. Why'd you do this to us?
But just for the sake of suffering, I'm gonna do it and read it. Bird, eat it. Unhinged. Hotel, Trivago.
God damn it. So this is Zone 3. Yeah, the baby was there again. The baby, by the way. Yeah, that's Ness. Not the restreamer, just the person logged into the SS4C account.
So, reminder to say /ban NES.
Yes, NES
We love you.
So now I'm in here. I don't want to be in here. I don't like it in here. Let me explain what's going on. I walked around the floor funny, didn't I? There is a very specific... there's an NPC you can talk to in the very opening area of this zone, of Zone 3, that gives you this postcard. And this postcard shows you these paths through this room that I'm in right now. And if you step even one tile off the path, you get stuck into an unfleeable encounter. So you have to kill all the enemies in the encounter. And once the encounter's over, you get warped back to the entrance of this room. I don't want that to happen.
Oh no.
So hopefully I won't misstep. I've once had an NPC block the path that I was supposed to be on. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, no, these squares all over the floor are kind of indicators of the path that you're... I took a wrong step.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, as you can see, this is not fleeable. So... I just kind of have to sit here and get muted, I guess. Thanks, game.
Sure.
Muted is basically this game's version of silence, where I can't use any skills. So yeah, now you're gonna see that after I'm done with that encounter, I just get worked back out here. And now I'm back out here. Fortunately, at this point, the path isn't confusing. I just need to go up here, get our final party member, add on Epsilon, and then I need to go talk to Zachary, the shopkeeper, who is a cat. They're not usually a cat, but they are now.
No. No.
I don't know why they're turning into a cat. It's just like that.
No.
But once I do all three things in this part of Zone 3, we can go to the next part of Zone 3. So within this zone, there are 4 areas. Areas 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that was Area 1. We're gonna go to Area 2. So Area 2 is a pretty simple one. There's just going to be a lot of switch puzzles in this factory-like place. We're going to get an item we're never going to use right here, because Zachary's trying to be nice to us. And they also just kind of broke the 4th wall, I guess. Thanks. Doesn't really help me in any way, but... you did it. So yeah, there's just kind of a few switch puzzles. This enemy that I just got into an encounter with is very important, because I'm going to run away from them. Which doesn't sound important, but it's important because that enemy is important. That enemy's name is Von Gacy. I really hope you remember that. Because you need to. I'm just hitting switches right now.
And it's especially specific order.
Yes, a very specific order. Here's Von Gacy again. Don't forget his name. So to get into this room, we have to enter a security code. I wonder what the enemy of that name was. It was Von Gacy. What's up?
No, that's why you need to remember the name.
Yeah, so I could enter that room. So Epsilon is kind of pog. As you saw there, everyone just got hit a lot. Epsilon's specialty, I never mentioned it, is multi-hit skills. So,
Meow.
in that enemy of 3, Epsilon hits all 3 at once, and it's kind of pog. For the most part,
Meow.
Epsilon's skill isn't going to be too useful. Who poisoned me? And can they not have poisoned me? I'm gonna just get out of this place because now the workers are really angry and can run at me and encounter me. But I'm gonna heal that poison, the batter's poison, so you guys don't have to deal with the red flashing, because I mentioned I really hate that. But that's the end of Zone 2. We just kind of had to go to the bottom floor of a warehouse and fight some dudes, I guess. And now we're gonna jump down a pipe. There's a reason to this.
Mario, is that you?
No. That is not the thing. Yeah, hey, chat, you know how I said at the beginning of this run that when I explain the story of this game, I might say some really fucked up things? So, everybody in this zone is obsessed with sugar. You might be wondering what sugar is. It's narcotics.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's some drugs. The sugar is... Oh boy. Okay, so the zone leader of Zone 3 is a nice little dude named Enoch. And what Enoch is doing is overworking the citizens of Zone 3 to the point of death, and then cremating them and cremating their body, which makes sugar, and then giving that sugar as rewards to hardworking people in order to drug them into wanting to work until they die, and then when they die, they get turned into sugar and the cycle continues.
Oh boy.
So yeah! What a game.
Yikes.
I really wish there was a better explanation for that, but there's just not. So yeah, Enoch's a kind of messed up dude, but we can't get to him right now because he is in Area 4 of Zone 3, and we don't have access to Area 4 of Zone 3. Fortunately, when we jump out of the sugar factory and go to the monorail cart, Zachary tells us he found an access card to Area 4 of Zone 3.
Meow.
So we're gonna go there, and we're gonna stop Enoch. Which we don't know Enoch's name yet. That's kind of a spoiler, but yeah, we're gonna go do that. Before that, we have one of the most confusing things I've ever seen in a game. So as you can tell, this is an Undertale. There is no pacifist option in this game. So when the monorail gets stopped because of this random dude on the tracks, you get into a battle with him. That's the only thing you can do. That attack that just did nothing except say the word help. Yeah, no, that's the only thing this enemy can do. And you just have to sit here and murder the dude. So that's fun. It usually takes around 3 rounds of attacks. So we're almost done. Probably just this hit. Yep. And there we go. Now we can get back on the monorail. Fun fact, there's a glitch I can do here where if you saw when I talked to the judge, the batter kind of walked to the sidecar very slowly. If I interacted with the judge from the side of the bench, I would be locked in that super slow walking speed for the rest of the game. So that's why I talked to him from the front.
That's not good for a speedrun.
No, you're right. Very astute. So now that I've pressed some buttons on a controller, I now have access to Enoch's door. So we can go challenge the man.
I'm sad that was not the Konami code.
I guessed it was the Konami code the first time I played. But there's a document. You have to, like, go find a piece of paper in a room in the... Yeah, okay. You have to find a desk in Area 4 and push it through the wall. And there's a piece of paper on that desk that has this key to which button on that controller is which. And then you have to go into your game files to find a README. And that README has the button code on it.
Wow.
Yeah. But this is Enoch. He's a big man. He's too big, in fact. He's too big. We can't fight him. We have to leave. So as soon as I get into this fight, I'm just going to flee from him. And we are now going to go on a chase scene, where he chases us. And we have to get away from him.
Run, Forrest, run.
Basically, except I'm gonna run into him on purpose. So this is a cool thing I can do. If I run into him on purpose in the second screen and hold up to flee, I wrong warp to the end of that screen, and it saves like almost no time, but wasn't that really cool looking?
Yes, it was.
It's not technically a wrong warp. There's a loading zone, like, on his person or something. Basically because the game doesn't want you to get stuck behind him in that situation. So if you kind of, like, go up above him after fleeing from him, it does that. So now we can fight Enoch for real. And this is what I saved those expirations I got earlier for. I bought 7 after fighting Sugar. I'm now just gonna use them all on Enoch. And it's not gonna get even, like, close to killing him. We're still gonna have to do quite a battle to do that. But this is just really good damage really early into the fight. And then we can just kind of do our normal skill spamming for the rest of the fight. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I got scared when he jumped off over the monorail.
oh yeah, no. He does that. Also, you've probably noticed, but the perspective in this fight is different from every other fight in the game, because he's just that big. Epsilon is poisoned, but I'm late enough into the fight where I'm probably fine. That's my philosophy with the late game boss fights in this run, is I'm probably fine. Okay, that happened. Alright, we're fine. He's gonna be dead real soon. There we go. So that's the end of Zone 3. And you want to hear a secret? Unlike the other 2 zones, when we finish this zone, there is no baby cutscene. We just move right on. So up next is the room. Gonna heal real quick. And this is Chapter 5, the room.
Where's the baby?
The baby will be. You will see the baby. So welcome to the room. It's a place where you can walk in a room, look at a calendar page, out the room, back in the room, and everything has changed. And then I talk to a thing. Look at this. Now we're gonna fight 8 teddy bears at once. Fortunately, Epsilon has a move that hits 8 people at once. So I'm just gonna use that, then wait for him to get to full charge, and use that again. And there you go. Now the chairs are sad. You never saw them happy unless you were very astute, but they're sad now. And we can go into this room and leave this room.
Oh.
And that's it. We're done with Chapter 5. That's the end of Chapter 5. And you know what comes after Chapter 5? You guessed it. Chapter 4.
Oh.
No, there is no baby in Chapter 4. There kind of is a baby.
I had 3 friends.
I had 3 friends, yes. There are 3 of them. We're going to go talk to them. So, coming up, we're going to walk down this hallway and meet friend number 1. Let me tell you, his name is the Tall Mister. I don't think you'll know him, but he is the Tall Mister. And he wants to know what day it is. So we're gonna go find out what day it is. It's June 3rd, apparently. Except not really. We take that calendar page, and he's like, give me the calendar page. And he's like, it's not that day. But it's a day. And then we'll do stuff together once the Queen finished building the world for us. And then I'm gonna go talk to the Big Mister, who you've also never seen before. His name is the Big Mister, and we've never seen him before. And he's stuck in a hole. And he promises to make us a cake if we get him out of the hole. So we go to this bird, who you've never seen before. His name is the Bird, and he gets the Big Mister out of the hole in exchange for the book that we got from the Tall Mister for telling him what day it wasn't. And then they all go down to the Tall Mister's cottage. And then they're like, we're gonna rebuild the world. It's gonna be PogChamp. And your mom is gonna rebuild the world. Our mom, yes, our mother is gonna rebuild the world. So we're gonna go talk to our mom, who happens to be the sun. Not like the sun as in like the male child of, but like the star in the sky that gives us light. That sun. That's the end of Chapter 4. And this is Chapter 3. Once we do Chapter 3, we go back to the title screen. But the title screen isn't, like, real. It's a fake title screen. And it has 3 fake save files on it that also aren't real. And they all lead to different instances of the place I'm in right now. So one of them has this dude. I tell this dude a code, and he's like, yeah, that's a good code. Tell me another code. And I tell him another code, and he's like, cool, have this card. I don't need to load the second fake save file because the answer to that second puzzle was in that fake save file, and I knew the answer, so I skipped it. But now I'm going to go back to this room and load the third fake save file, and it's upside down. However, thanks to the Sagittarius card, once I go to this room right here, it's going to stop being upside down. And then there's a puzzle in here.
Wow.
And then I walk down this hallway, and that's going to be the end of Chapter 3. I'm trying to play-by-play this commentary just because, like, what's going on does not make sense to anyone that does not know, like, everything about this game. But... What's up?
No, it does not make any sense at all.
So next up is Chapter 2, Boxer's Adventure. There's a comic on the ground. the comic was meant for the baby, but we're gonna read it because we don't know if the comic is good or not. The baby seems not to like the comic, but we might like the comic. So we're Boxer. We're a superhero who is a boxer, and there is Ballman, an evil genius who was a baseball player. Ballman cloned himself, took over the city, and kidnapped Boxer's girlfriend. What a dick. So we're on a quest to save our girlfriend and stop Ballman. More like Blue Ballman, am I right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get into any optional encounters there. So what I do is wait for my action bar to fill up, and then I use a skill called Box Bomb, and Box Bomb does that. So that's the end of the comic. And then we're done with chapter 2. We're gonna talk to the shopkeeper, because he's here. And we're gonna sell everything I've ever had in the game. All of it. All of it's going away now. And then we're gonna buy 21 expirations for damage reasons. So, coming up is the final boss fight with the Queen. So the story kind of goes, correct me if I'm wrong, the birthday gift for the baby from the Queen was a whole new world. That world was everything we traveled to before the room. And the world is messed up. Because the Queen spent so much time wanting to build the new world, she just forgot about the baby. So that begs the question, right? Who is the baby? I think it's the player? I'm not quite sure. But the Queen fight is interesting. She is somewhat susceptible to poison. So I'm gonna try using expirations on her and her add-ons, all while trying to hit the Queen with a poison attack. And there we go. Once we do, I'm gonna start trying to, like, focus some more damage onto the Queen than onto the add-ons, which is different from the usual strat. And the reason why I'm doing that is because you see these attacks. Like, that attack doesn't have a really long animation, but there's this attack that does, where you see these, like, whispers go off. You're about to see it again. Probably soon, unless I kill right here. This one. That's the Queen's attack. It's really long, so we want her to die as early into the fight as possible, so that attack stops happening. And I didn't mean to do a basic attack there. That was just me mashing badly. I didn't do that fight optimally. I spent a little bit too much time using expirations on the Queen and not letting her just rack down poison. So I don't have as many expirations as I would like to have, but it's fine. So chapter 0 is called The Batter. We're the baby. I'm the baby. I've been playing as the baby, and my mom is stupid, so I just beat her up, and she died. And now we have to stop the world she created. And one way to do that is to defeat the baby. Because we are the baby. This doesn't cause a time paradox, so it's completely legal.
But it is a time paradox.
No, it's not. Listen. It should be, but it's not.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there was no, like, graphic imagery. It's a sprite game. Is it bludgeoning? I don't know if an expiration is bludgeoning. I guess I did use a bat at one point because I ran out. So, yeah, you know how I just mentioned that ending where we have to turn the world off? There's a bonus ending you can get where the judge kills the batter right here and just kind of wanders around for a bit. And that's a faster ending. So we're going to choose it. This is just a 3-turn fight as the judge against the batter, and time's gonna end. Get ready on time. It's in like 5 seconds, by the way. Time. So that was off. I hope you liked it. Yeah, that wasn't a bad run. See, look at all that bad luck on that optional boss, and I'm still over 5 minutes under estimate. That's pretty good. I'm gonna give quick shout-outs. I can't watch... hold on. There you go. I can't watch the credits because it has copyrighted music in it. It has a performance of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I don't remember if it's Judy Garland or Julie Andrews, but it's one of those two. I'd like to give 2 quick shout-outs, though. Kiyoshi's in chat. Kiyoshi... I was once like, I know how to do the run, but I don't know why the run works. And then Kiyoshi just like said numbers at me, and now I can give you numbers that I gave you during this event. The other shout out I'd like to give is to Tootler Fiber, who helped me learn this game and like got me really into running this game and is really good. Those 2 runners I just mentioned are the current top 2. And yeah, they've been great friends ever since when I started running this game at the beginning of the year. I have to do the incentive now, because I didn't do that mid-run. So we're back in the theme park from Zone 2. And there's this fun little thing you can do. Where it's kind of like a lazy river type thing. You ride the rubber ducky, and there's a lot of these like automated movement tiles. Kind of like Pokemon slide puzzle tiles, you know the ones. In the water.
Which plays Pokemon flashbacks.
Yeah. But either way, there's a secret path through the tiles in the water here. And if you make it through, you reach lever preventing access to the roller coaster. Leave it activated, please. Flip the switch off. So now we have access to the roller coaster. So now we can go to this side. And this gate right here is usually closed, but we can just walk through it. So we walk up here, and there's a statue of Zachary. Not only the shopkeeper in the game, but also the amusement park's founder. We can push this statue onto the roller coaster car and ride the roller coaster with him.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. And then we talk to this guy, and we can get a picture of us on the roller coaster. And that's what it looks like. We're not done here. I'm gonna ride the roller coaster again. This time alone. And this time I can get a picture. And this one is not as cool. I have my hands up. But there's one other notable thing about these 2 pictures. I'm gonna walk over, since I'm in Zone 2 right now, to the shopping mall. If you may remember, Zachary's there, the shopkeeper. And we can sell items to the shopkeeper in this game. So I'm gonna call the rubber ducky, ride it across, and go to the shopkeeper. And if you want to see something funny, these two pictures, the picture of me alone sells for 10 credits. The picture with the statue sells for 500. So it's 50 times the price.
What a nice lad.
And with that, that's all I have to show off and off. So thanks for letting me show this game off. And yeah, that's it for this game. But coming up next, I'm running another game. So stay tuned for that.